The arena was enormous. A vast circle of polished metal and glass suspended above a seething crowd of aliens from countless worlds. Light refracted off the high walls, casting strange, shifting patterns over the ground. Sounds of chatter, cheers, and alien cries echoed throughout, mixing into a strange symphony of excitement and anticipation. Today the crowd had gathered to witness something rare, a Deathworlder girl entering the arena, and a human challenger whose reputation alone caused many of the alien spectators to lean forward with curiosity. Zira stepped onto the arena floor, her small frame immediately noticeable among the larger, bulkier alien competitors. Her skin was tanned, her hair cropped short, and her dark eyes held a stillness that made several of the crowd murmur in confusion. Unlike the others, she did not raise weapons or make threatening gestures. She did not even shift her weight nervously. She stood perfectly still, waiting. The announcer, an alien with 4 arms and a voice like grinding metal, bellowed the opening words. "Let the trial begin." The crowd roared, some in excitement, others in disbelief. They expected action, fast strikes, sudden dodges, displays of strength. But Zira did not move. From above, weapons were released. Whips of energy lashed toward her. Short-bladed darts zipped through the air and small robotic beasts charged. One of the larger competitors, a towering creature with scaly green skin and 4 eyes, rushed toward her, swinging a heavy spiked staff. Yet Zira remained motionless. The staff struck near her, missing by mere centimeters, and instead of reacting, she simply shifted her breathing, a tiny adjustment that seemed to keep her center perfectly balanced. The crowd grew restless. Whispers turned into nervous laughter. "She does not move. Does she even feel? This is foolish."
"Strike her down!"
But each attack, no matter how fierce, failed to faze her. She did not dodge unnecessarily. She did not flinch. Her stillness was unsettling. Even the other competitors began to hesitate, unsure how to approach someone who seemed almost untouchable through calm alone. From the side of the arena, a human entered. Kalen. His reputation preceded him. Known for unpredictable tactics and his uncanny ability to survive where others perished, he carried no weapon, only a simple utility harness strapped to his chest and waist. He moved with casual ease, observing Zira rather than attacking. The crowd's murmurs shifted from curiosity about the Deathworlder girl to amusement at the human's apparent nonchalance. The announcer's voice rang out again. "The human challenger enters the fray." Kalen nodded slightly at Zira, a subtle recognition of her presence. He did not charge. He did not attack. He walked closer, deliberately slow, measuring each step. The audience tensed. What was he waiting for? Surely a human would strike. Instead, Kalen dropped. He fell forward, almost collapsing to the ground. The crowd gasped. Some laughed, thinking it a mistake. Others leaned forward in shock. But Zira did not move. Her eyes dark and sharp followed him, her focus unbroken. She did not reach to catch him. She did not flinch. She stayed still, almost as if time itself had slowed around her. Kalen rolled smoothly as he hit the ground, his fall a calculated test. He had wanted to see her reaction, to gauge her instincts. He noted the way her posture never wavered, the way her breathing remained calm, the subtle energy of her awareness. He had seen Deathworlders before, humans raised on planets with impossible conditions. But Zira's stillness was remarkable, almost impossible. Around them, other competitors hesitated. They had expected chaos, immediate aggression, and the usual displays of violence. Instead, they saw 2 humans, one standing, one fallen, observing rather than reacting, and the air seemed to thicken with tension. A sudden attack broke the moment. A creature with sharp claws leapt toward Zira from the opposite side of the arena. The crowd cheered, expecting her to dodge or strike. She did neither. The creature's claws grazed past her, missing by the width of a finger. Her stance did not change. It was as if she had become part of the arena itself, her presence absorbing the danger without effort. Kalen watched closely, noting each small movement, each slight shift of balance. He realized she was not merely still. She was alive in ways the aliens could not perceive. Her muscles were relaxed but ready, her mind alert to every angle and trajectory. She was not afraid. That lack of fear was more dangerous than any weapon the aliens could wield. "Impossible," muttered a spectator from a distant world, speaking in a language Kalen barely recognized. but he understood the tone. Fear, disbelief, awe. The announcer attempted to regain control, but the audience was already caught in the spectacle. Every alien present was watching, trying to predict her next move. And still, Zira remained still, a paradox in motionless form. Then came the signal for the next stage. Energy walls began to rise, enclosing part of the arena into a smaller, more dangerous area. Traps activated and the ground shifted, forcing competitors into close encounters. Some fell into sudden pits. Others were hit by bursts of energy designed to test reflexes and instincts. Zira moved finally, but only when she needed to adjust her footing. Even then, her movements were precise, minimal, almost imperceptible. She did not rush, she did not strike blindly. The alien competitors, used to brute force, were baffled. Every time they attacked, she anticipated their moves without appearing to anticipate. Kalen saw an opening. He rose from the ground, crouched slightly, and moved closer. A small mechanical hazard, a floating spiked drone, swooped toward Zira. She did not flinch. Kalen intervened, using his body to redirect the drone's momentum away from her, and in doing so he dropped again, deliberately rolling into the path of another hazard. The crowd roared, some laughing at what they thought was foolish bravery, some growing tense at the subtle dance between the two humans. But Zira remained unshaken. She did not act to save him, nor did she ignore him. She simply stayed aware, absorbing the unfolding chaos with a calm that seemed almost unnatural. Other competitors began to retreat. They tried to attack her with combined strikes, hoping numbers would overwhelm her. They underestimated her. She did not attack back in the usual sense. Instead, she used their own momentum, stepping aside, shifting balance, and allowing them to overextend. A few stumbled or collided, some tripping over the shifting floor, some tangled in their own devices. Kalen noted each reaction carefully. The way she moved, though minimal, was precise. The way she used her weight, her gaze, her awareness of surroundings. It was a form of combat the aliens had never seen. They relied on strength, on rules, on predictable behavior. Zira relied on instinct, calm, and survival honed by a Deathworld's harsh lessons. Minutes passed. The energy traps continued, the arena grew increasingly hostile, and still, Zira stood firm. Kalen dropped, rolled, and tested angles, and Zira adapted. Their silent coordination, subtle and wordless, left the spectators breathless. Many whispered, uncertain whether they were witnessing a new form of combat or some strange human phenomenon. Finally, the round ended. The energy walls receded, the traps deactivated, and the announcer's voice echoed through the arena. The first trial concludes. The crowd erupted into a mix of cheers and stunned silence. Many of the aliens were shocked. They had expected a chaotic, bloody display. Instead, they had seen calm, control, and survival instincts far beyond what they had anticipated. Kalen and Zira stood on opposite sides of the arena. She showed no sign of fatigue. Her breathing was steady. Her eyes, dark and unwavering, scanned the crowd briefly, then returned to him. He nodded once, a silent acknowledgement of mutual respect and understanding. The announcer's voice cut through the murmurs again. "Prepare for the second trial." The alien competitors shuffled uneasily, and the crowd leaned forward, anticipating the next challenge. The energy walls began to rise again, higher this time, enclosing an even larger section of the arena. Mechanical beasts stirred. Hazardous terrain shifted. The air was thick with tension, every spectator aware that the real test had not yet begun. Zira remained still, watching the transformations in the arena. Kalen crouched slightly, observing her as much as the environment. Both knew that the next trial would push them beyond instinct, beyond mere survival, into something far more demanding. Yet neither showed fear. Neither made unnecessary movements. In a world of unpredictable danger and countless species trained for dominance, the humans, small, underestimated, yet unshakably calm, were the ones who would define the trial on their own terms. The arena seemed to pulse with anticipation, but Zira's steady stance and Kalen's deliberate movements made one thing clear. This was not a fight of brute force. It was a test of awareness, instinct, and the unyielding will to survive. And already, even the aliens in the stands could see that these two humans were something far beyond what they had ever encountered. The walls continued to rise. The crowd's excitement reached a fever pitch, and the announcer's voice rang out once more. "Next stage, begin." Zyra's eyes flicked briefly to Kaelin, a silent signal passing between them. She did not move yet. She waited, calm, focused, ready. The arena had become a place of chaos, but she remained the eye in the storm, a stillness that defied expectation, a presence that would leave all who watched questioning everything they thought they knew about survival. And then slowly, deliberately, she began to take her first steps into the new trial. The arena had transformed. Energy walls now towered high above, enclosing a section twice the size of the original circle. The floor shifted unpredictably, alternating between solid panels, weak platforms that tilted when stepped upon, and sections that could collapse at any moment. Mechanical beasts prowled, their eyes glowing with cold precision, while energy turrets glided along the walls ready to strike. The air itself seemed alive with danger, humming with electricity and tension. Zyra stood at the edge of the arena, her dark eyes sweeping the field. She did not move hastily. Each step she had taken in the previous trial had been measured, precise, minimal, but every move had counted. Now the challenge had intensified, but she remained calm, the instincts honed on her Deathworld, a planet where predators could end life in an instant and the environment itself was lethal, had prepared her for moments like this. Kaelin crouched near her, scanning the arena with deliberate care. Unlike the aliens who relied on size, strength, or complex weaponry, humans depended on observation, instinct, and improvisation. Every hazard, every moving platform, every lurking mechanical beast was noted. He whispered a few words to himself, not for Zyra, but as part of his process. He had survived worse than any arena designed by alien elites. The first wave began. Small, spider-like drones skittered across the floor, their claws snapping. Some competitors charged blindly, hoping to destroy them before reaching the central area. Many fell into traps or collided with each other. Zyra did not panic. She stepped lightly onto a moving panel, her balance perfect. She allowed a drone to pass close, sidestepping only at the last moment. The crowd gasped. She did not attack. Yet the drone did not stop. It malfunctioned when it hit a tilted platform and tumbled to the floor harmlessly. Kaelin moved beside her, using a long pole-like tool from his harness to push hazards away. He rolled smoothly across a collapsing section of the floor, demonstrating that humans could manipulate the environment in ways the aliens had not anticipated. The audience began to murmur, some realizing that these humans were not only surviving, they were controlling the flow of the trial. A massive creature emerged from a trapdoor, a quadruped with armored skin and claws like swords. It charged at Zyra, faster than the eye could follow. The other competitors froze, unsure how to react. Zyra tilted her head slightly, analyzing the angle of attack. She shifted her weight subtly, sidestepped at the precise moment, and let the beast's momentum carry it forward. It crashed into a hazard trap, a spinning blade designed for other competitors, and the crowd erupted in disbelief. Kaelin did not intervene. He had learned to watch, to let Zyra's instincts guide the immediate moment. When an obstacle approached that could end them both, he acted, but only with precision, only when necessary. Humans had learned long ago that every action carried consequences. Rushing or striking without thought could be fatal. The arena continued to evolve. A section of the floor suddenly dropped out, revealing a pit filled with energy shards that could pierce metal. Competitors who panicked jumped or ran recklessly and vanished. Zyra crouched slightly, her eyes fixed on the pattern. She took one careful step, then another, hopping only where necessary. Her movements were minimal, almost invisible, but she crossed the dangerous section flawlessly. Kaelin followed a different path, rolling, sliding, and using his weight to shift weak platforms just enough to support her. Again, the aliens were baffled. Their calculations relied on force, unexpected behavior. These humans defied every expectation with careful, intelligent moves. The next challenge arrived suddenly. A wall of energy shot up between Zyra and Kaelin, dividing the arena. On the other side, a massive mechanical predator waited, its design optimized for speed and lethality. Competitors often panicked when separated, but Zira did not. She scanned the creature, noting the timing of its movements and the gaps in its patrol pattern. Kalen observed her silently. He understood that the trick was not to attack blindly, but to exploit the predator's predictable behavior. He gestured subtly, a small motion of his hand, indicating the timing of a coordinated approach. Zira nodded almost imperceptibly. When the predator lunged, Kalen dropped onto the floor in a feigned stumble, drawing the creature forward. Zira remained still until the last second, then moved with a sudden, precise step to redirect the predator into one of the traps left in the arena. The machine screeched as it was caught and disabled. The crowd gasped, some cheering, some frozen in disbelief. The aliens whispered among themselves. They had never seen humans coordinate without words, without technology, without complex communication. It was instinct, observation, and intelligence working in harmony, a combination that no brute strength or elaborate weapon could match. Other competitors attempted to strike Zira now, realizing that if she survived, she would be a threat in the final rounds. But each attack failed. She did not meet aggression with aggression. Instead, she guided the attacker's own momentum against them. A large alien swung a heavy club, aiming for her head. She stepped aside just enough. The alien's club hit a collapsing floor panel, sending him sprawling into another trap. Kalen did not interfere. His eyes scanned for other hazards while Zira used the openings created by the environment to maneuver. Humans, he knew, had the ability to improvise quickly, to turn dangerous situations into opportunities, a trait that many alien species relying on training and predictable responses lacked. The arena's final trial began. The walls closed inward, forcing all competitors into the central zone. Energy traps activated randomly. Mechanical beasts roamed freely. The floor shook violently. Many alien competitors panicked, attacking recklessly, and falling victim to traps or one another. Zira and Kalen moved in harmony, a silent rhythm guiding their steps. She remained calm, analyzing every hazard and every opponent, while he created subtle diversions, redirecting attacks or triggering traps at the right moment. Together, they manipulated the chaos rather than being consumed by it. One of the largest mechanical beasts, a four-legged monstrosity with rotating claws, charged at them. Kalen jumped onto a raised platform and triggered a trap below the beast. Its claws sliced through nothing but empty space as it fell into a pit of spikes. Zira did not flinch. She simply continued, guiding smaller hazards with careful steps and minimal effort. As the trial neared its end, the arena itself seemed to challenge them directly. Sections of the floor collapsed. Energy turrets fired with unpredictable timing, and gravity shifts forced competitors into awkward angles. But Zira adapted seamlessly. Her small body, trained on a death world with constant danger, moved with a combination of instinct and intelligence. Kalen adjusted the environment with careful timing, using tools, weight, and force precisely where needed. Finally, the central energy field began to deactivate. The other competitors who remained were injured or exhausted, many unable to continue. Zira stood in the center, her dark eyes scanning the field. She was calm, almost serene. Kalen approached, rolling lightly across a section of collapsing floor to reach her. He dropped deliberately at her side, creating a small, controlled chaos that drew attention away from her. The announcer's voice rang out, loud and mechanical. "The final trial concludes. Competitors, stand where you are." The crowd erupted into stunned applause, a mix of amazement and disbelief. They had expected a display of violence, of brute force and aggression. Instead, they had witnessed something far more impressive. Humans surviving by intelligence, instinct, calm, and adaptability. Zira and Kalen had not dominated with strength. They had outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and outlasted. Some alien spectators whispered anxiously, questioning their assumptions about human frailty. Others cheered, fascinated by the ingenuity on display. In every case, the humans had demonstrated a trait few species could match: the ability to thrive under chaos through calm awareness and clever action. Zira stepped forward, her movements deliberate but minimal. Kalen followed, his eyes scanning for remaining hazards even though the trial had officially ended. They did not rush. They did not boast. Their victory was quiet, earned through skill and resilience. The announcer's voice continued, a mix of frustration and admiration. Never have I seen such control. These humans, these Deathworlders, defy expectation at every turn. Zyra and Kaelin turned to face the audience. There was no arrogance, only calm confidence. They had endured what no one thought possible. They had survived challenges designed to crush both body and mind. And they had done so together, silently, efficiently, and without needless violence. The aliens in the stands were left with a single, unavoidable realization. Humans could not be underestimated. Their combination of instinct, intelligence, adaptability, and calm focus made them unpredictable and formidable. Even the most powerful competitors had failed where the humans had succeeded, not through raw strength, but through presence, awareness, and the courage to remain calm under impossible pressure. As the arena lights dimmed and the energy walls retracted, Zyra and Kaelin walked toward the exit. The other competitors either slumped in defeat or stared in awe. Whispers spread through the crowd like wildfire. They did not rush. They did not panic. They survived everything. Humans are unlike any species we know. The announcer's voice rang out one